Hey y'all, I want you to look at this. This is actually a picture that I took from a video, and this picture is actually live from one of my buddies online who was canoeing. And this looks like a watercolor painting, and it's not. It's actually a picture of nature. The exact picture, it's not a painting. It's an actual live picture that I took from a video, a live video. So it's like weird how it looks like a painting. So I want to talk to y'all about why it's so easy for me to shut off my sex drive. Real easy. There has been abuse in the past from a couple of people who tried to take advantage of me, um, almost assaulted me, you know, two specific situations. And the so called mother was also the type of person to shame me before I even had a sex drive. She was, having her fun with her little boyfriends when she wasn't married. And she shamed me. You better not come up in here pregnant and this, that, and the other. And she was always saying that. How the hell? I'm thinking to myself, how the hell could I get pregnant when I wasn't even doing anything? And then because she always drilled that into my head, that sex was nasty and sex was gross and you better not come up in here pregnant. And she acted like a total hypocrite because you obviously laid down with your husband and got pregnant with 5 kids, two of which were twins that did not survive. But then you turn around and act like sex is the worst thing in the world. So that doesn't really help you have a healthy sex drive. It just does not. Um, Children should not be shamed for. I didn't even have a sex drive then, but she was acting like, well, you best not come in here pregnant. How the hell can I, you know what I mean? So there's this indirect treating the sex drive that I didn't even have like it was the worst thing that could happen. I didn't even have desire. What are you talking about? It was weird. So then when I became a young adult and you start, seeing these boys or whatever, these young guys, and you get into these makeout sessions, and of course they're trying to hit a home run, aren't they all? And I would get so turned off. The hotter they got, the more I got turned off because it was always echoing in my head in so many words or less. That's the worst thing that could happen. You feel desire. That's just horrible. Well, that messes with you psychologically. And I would get turned off, and I'm like, okay, get off of me. And they're like, oh, you're a cock tease. What's wrong with you? This, that, and my desire would just completely disappear because and that's what kept me from getting in trouble or getting knocked up or whatever, because let me stop you because you taking this too far. We start off as a makeout session and you trying to, put your hands places and trying to take this too far. Stop. And my desire would just disappear. And then I got to the point that happened a lot with guys. And I know that had a lot to do with being shamed because, again, she acted like sex was just horrible, but yet she was having it. Very hypocritical. And women have to feel safe emotionally before she can be intimate. We're not talking about Loose women. You look at them, she's ready to hump you. We're not talking about loose women. We're talking about normal, average people who are not obsessed with sex and not trying to have a super high body count. We're just talking normal, average people. We have to feel safe in order to be intimate with someone, whether you are dating, engaged, or married. We have to feel safe. And if we feel that you're not completely connected with us, we don't want to be intimate with you because you do not provide a safe place for us to do that. In addition to the shaming that I grew up with, which left a big psychological scar. So even though I was in marriages where you are obviously supposed to be intimate with the person, right? My drive would just disappear because I wasn't safe and my needs were not important. And you just, I would just completely shut down because I can't continue to have these conversations with you that are circular, that have no resolution, and your behavior never changes, your attitude never changes. It might change temporarily because you're going to keep trying to get laid, but then you eventually slip back into your nasty little pissy attitude. And then I just get to the point where I'm all talked out. I can no longer talk to you. I have no more desire to fix anything. I don't care anymore. I'm just existing with you. I have no desire to be intimate with you at all because a woman has to feel safe with her spouse. And if you are, my needs are totally ignored, that is not conducive to a high sex drive. And men don't get it. Men's mentality is you got a roof over your head, the bills are paid, there's groceries in the house. What are you complaining for? Okay, those are necessities. But what does that have to do with the other part of your connection, which is communicating, caring about your partner, caring about her needs, apologizing if you screwed up and try not to screw up again? They look at the practical everyday necessities, but they don't look at the emotional part because they have no strength in that area. They don't know how to communicate properly. They don't have a desire to work through problems. They just exist. They go through semantics. Well, this got to be done. That's got to be done. Groceries got to be done. This has got to be paid before the end of the month. They resolve all of those things and they think that's all that's necessary, and that's stupid. You're not married to a robot. You're not married to a Sears mannequin or a puppet. You're married to a person who has needs. And I don't mean sexually. I'm talking about emotional needs that you keep ignoring or having excuses for your behavior. And a woman is going to shut down sexually, emotionally, so far as physical, no affection, because you don't consider me important to you. My needs are not important. I'm not important. Things that bother me are not a bother to you. Therefore, everything's going to be on ice. My desire for you, gone. My desire to work out our problems, gone. My connection to you, gone. So when you look at the mental psychological scar from the past with being shamed, that desire is just horrible, lying ass hypocrite, trying to make me feel bad about I didn't even have desire back then. So what are why are you acting like I mean, it was just stupid. It was just scarring. It was psychologically scarring. And then you've got, you know, had people in my life that were not equipped to be a decent partner and had no business getting married. They know they're not marriage material. And once you're married, it's a little too late to find out that you're not marriage material, but it happens all the time. Thus, our high sex drive. I mean, not high sex drive, divorce rate, high divorce rate, as a result of no sex drive, as a result of no communication. We're going to get tired. Whichever partner, it could be the husband who's tired. I mean, whichever partner it is that has tried to hold up the marriage single handedly, they're going to give up. And then the so called marriage is going to shrivel up and that's it. It is a done deal. Nobody can hold up a marriage by themselves, and they shouldn't have to. So I'm going to put the video I saw of John Delony, Dr. John Delony. The woman called in. She's only 25 and she's lost her sex drive. Um, she married somebody that acts like her husband, and that has a lot to do with it. She always has to be the peacemaker in their marriage and try to keep him calm. So she, in essence, married a guy just like her father, and I did the same thing. You know, the father is a narcissist, and I ended up with a narcissist. And it just doesn't work out. Because I have the psychological scarring from being shamed about sex, it's easy for me to reel that back when you don't act right, because you're kind of lucky I wanted to be intimate with you at all, considering it's not my favorite thing to do because I've never felt safe with anyone. Let's just keep it real. I never felt emotionally safe. Only when they were on good behavior, you know, did I feel safe. But the problem with that is it doesn't last if you're married to the wrong person and you're married to a narc, or you're married to someone else who's whatever personality disorder they may have. You just shut down because their good behavior never lasts. And then when I had a breakdown, I had a mental freaking breakdown because his bitch ass ex wife was calling me from Pennsylvania and leaving messages on my phone every single day because she was pissed off that her kids liked me. She was pissed off that they went back to Pennsylvania talking about how much fun they had with their mom in Missouri. And she was jealous of that and angry and hostile. And so she decided to harass the absolute hell out of me every day on my phone. I'm going to say 7 to 10 times a day she was calling me back to back to back to back. And I finally filed a police report, and I think they might have contacted her and told her, because it stopped. So I think they might have contacted her. I'm not sure. And he found out after the fact. I'm not sure how. I must have mentioned it. I had a breakdown because your bitch ass ex-wife was calling, harassing me on my phone. And I told him about it. And his response was shoulder shrug. And he had no real response. And you think I want to have sex with you? Why? Why would I want to? You don't give a damn. So then he told me way later, how come you never told me that you had a breakdown behind her? Because you weren't going to do anything. That's why. You weren't going to put your foot down. You weren't going to tell her, and I addressed him on this. You weren't going to tell her, when you call my house and talk to my wife, you're going to have respect for her. Is that clear? He's not the type of person to do that. He was a bully to me, but when he's supposed to be a bully to someone else who's an actual bully, he would sit back and eat popcorn and do nothing. So, yes, my desire was completely gone, shriveled up. Everything's like Sahara Desert action. I don't want to hold your hand. I don't want to kiss you. I don't want to, yeah, I'll hug him. And that's as far as it was going to go. You cannot be an asshole in your relationship or in your marriage and expect to have a hot sex life with this person. What world are you living in? What planet are you on? What is wrong with you? That you think that your attitude and your nonchalant attitude and your bullying for no reason, you think that makes people hot for you? It does not. It does not. And there's times that I've screamed at him so hard my throat was hurting afterwards because he was picking fights on purpose about things that I had zero control over, like the bills. He was pissed off that he had to pay bills every month because he was trying to be a slut and he was sleeping with all these different broads. I had no idea that was going on until way later. That's the reason he was picking fights with me. It didn't have anything to do with the bills. It had to do with this is money for his new piece of butt that he's trying to obtain. Why would I want to pay for the electric bill when I'm trying to get this woman over here to pull her pants off? Okay? Women will lose their sex drive in a heartbeat if they don't feel safe in their relationship. And I never had an out of control sex life and a sex desire and, desire for sex. I never had a super high sex drive anyway. So if I'm hot for you, you better treat that with respect. But men don't, they're not capable of treating it with respect. There's only a select few men that actually treasure their partner. Very, very select few who treasure their partner. I would see a guy do something heroic to save his woman, you know, or you read about it in the news or you see it, whatever happened, but he was a hero. And me and my friends would make a joke. Well, he's going to get laid tonight because of that. And it's true. You know why? Because she feels protected and she feels safe. Nothing is hotter than a woman who sees her man fight to protect her. He's concerned about her needs. Babe, I'm going into the kitchen. Do you want anything to drink? Little things like that. You don't have to wrestle fight a grizzly bear. I mean, if you did, yes, you're probably going to get laid. You saved our life. You saved my life. Come here, sexy. Okay, let me rock your world. But they don't comprehend that there's more to life than a roof over your head. That women have needs, emotional needs, and I'm gonna tell you what else that's a real turnoff. The fact that we're going there. I don't give a shit. We're going there. The fact that men are so desperate for sex, and they're not really desperate because they're that hot. Because if it was such a god dang an emergency for you to pop your dick off, you would pop it yourself and get the relief. Okay. The fact that you want to manipulate people with sex is the real reason why you have to have it, because it feeds your ego when you tag somebody and she's strung out over you. That feeds your fucking ego. You got somebody moaning, groaning, breaking out in a sweat. Her body's trembling if you know what you're doing. Her whole body is like a little earthquake going on because you're hitting all the right spots. And that's what feeds your fucking ego. That is why you're so desperate to be up in there. It's not because of a physical need. It's because of a psychological need. You have to control someone. You have to dominate somebody. You have to have them feed your fucking ego. You have to have them strung out over you. You have to, you don't get your ego fed if you have a one night stand with some chick in a bar. You don't get your ego fed that way. You don't get your ego fed if you hire an escort so you can just pop your dick off inside somebody since you act so desperate. You don't get a thrill off of that because she's not expected to be strung out over you. She gets paid to do you, and that's it. It's a lot more fun for toxic, stupid men. It's a lot more fun to rock somebody and then have her fiending for you, texting you afterwards. Last night was so special. I miss you so much. That's what they're desperate for. That right there is what they're desperate for. They know that that thing has the ability to make women act simple in the head, and that is what he is banking on. He needs you calling him multiple times, texting him multiple times. I miss you so much. I can't stop thinking about you. Last night was so beautiful. That's what he's desperate for. That's the real reason he's desperate for it. That's the real reason. Because if you're actually desperate for something, you're going to get relief no matter how relief, whichever relief comes, however it comes. Whether you give it to yourself in 2 seconds flat, zoom, 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 done, empty, squirt, done. If you're desperate, you don't care how you get the relief as long as you get it. And you don't want fast women because they're too easy. You want someone who you can't get easily because she's more of a challenge, and that's what feeds your ego. And that's the real reason you're so goddamn desperate, because you know it has the power. When you rock somebody, it has the power to make women get stupid and strung out over you and doing ridiculous behaviors, like letting you move in and giving her passwords to you, and you can move into my house and I'll buy you a car and buy. I mean, that thing makes women get insane. That's what he's desperate for. That's the real reason he's desperate. But anyway, the more they push for it, and that's the nature of a man, to push, 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 push. In the first conversation, he dropped sexual hints. Oh, honey, that turns me off so bad. That type of pushing for it makes me never want to have sex again. The harder they push, the further they push me away. Some of us are not loose. Some of us have, we've been taught that if we have desire, that's a horrible thing. So we have scars behind it. Then we've been in relationships where men did not protect us emotionally, did not protect our heart, didn't protect our bodies, our souls. We weren't safe. So what do you all do? Not every man, but what do a lot of men do? Hey, how you doing? Ew. That's pretty nasty. It's gross. Why are you doing that? I talked to a guy who he is in his 50s, and we were talking, and I met him on the slimy dating sites, which I haven't been on them in so many years now. I just got rid of every single one of them because it's a colossal waste of time, and every dysfunctional person in the world is on there. No, thank you. I'll pass. I was talking to him, and we were talking about food, and we were talking about lasagna, and he said he likes to make his with um I forget what he makes it with. Uh Pork or chicken or so. I don't really remember. But I said, well, I prefer it with beef. You know what he says? I got your beef right here. That's the type of shit that makes women want to never give up sex again. Because it don't take much for me to lose my drive, because y'all act stupid. Every woman, for guys that are listening to this, every single woman has been targeted for that. Every single woman has dealt with sexual abuse or sexual assault or somebody being aggressive with chasing after her ass. Every woman has been through it, touched, mauled by men, even in so called relationships. And I don't mean in a loving way, I mean in a caveman way. And we do have scarring because of being chased for our bodies, you know? So what do? You act the same way. How is that a turn on? How is that a turn on? Now, this young lady that called Dr. Delony, her husband is an idiot to her, and her drive is gone, completely gone. She's only 25. Your hormones are supposed to still be ping ponging in your 20s. You go through hot spells in your 20s. And they've only been married for a year and 3 months. So they're still kind of newlyweds, and her desire is gone. But her husband does not allow her to be in a safe place emotionally. He's chronically critical of everything. And, it shuts a woman down. That is not, conducive to feeling hot for your partner when you're not safe. Your husband's a brat, or your husband's a bully, or he doesn't give a shit. He's nonchalant about everything, or he's screaming and yelling about things that are inappropriate to be screaming and yelling about. None of that, absolutely none of that makes us want you. None of that is makes us hot. You're screaming at me about bills. Oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. I can't wait till you get home. Oh my God, I want you so bad. Yeah, no. Nope. I asked a friend of mine, she was married, or she probably still is. I haven't talked to her in a while, I haven't seen her in a while. Her and her husband like to go to bars and they like to drink, and that's bad, bad, bad. Because he's got extreme jealousy problems and the alcohol makes it worse. They need to stay out of bars, but whatever. I said, and she would get irritated because he's so jealous all the time. And I said, you never lose your sex drive for him? She said, no. She said, if he keeps, I don't know how she worded it, if he keeps playing with something long enough, something's about to turn on. And I just started laughing. There are women who are like that. No matter how much you make her mad, you touch this or touch that, and she's ready to roll. But there's other women that don't you even think about it. Don't you touch nothing. Don't even touch my arm. I'm tired of you. Stop. And we're not going to talk to you and have the same conversation over and over and over and over again. Men like to say, "Oh, you punish us by not having sex." No. We don't have desire for you because you don't respect us. Don't twist that. Don't twist it. Don't you dare twist that. It's not a punishment. It's, I don't feel connected to you, so I don't want to be connected to you physically, sexually. I have no desire to do that. You're not loving, you're not caring, you're not sweet. Oh, you can be. You can be when you're trying to manipulate me out of my clothes. But on a daily basis, and the longer you're together, the worse they become. No, dude, you're not creating an environment where someone wants to be intimate with you. Use some common sense. You're not loving. You're a bully. You're mean. You're insensitive. You love to say negative things. So you don't give compliments because you're critical. That doesn't make women hot for you. What is wrong with your brain that you don't understand that? They don't think. They don't comprehend, they don't think, they don't care to think. They just want to exist. They want to physically go to work like a mummy or like a statue. They just want to, like a corpse, go through life and then come home and go through the motions with no emotions. I like that. They want to go through the motions without emotion. Exactly. You don't want to be warm. You don't want to be tender. You don't want to be sweet only when you want something. And then after you get it, you start being an asshole all over again. Well, how many times are we going to go through that cycle before I say no to your advances? That's me protecting myself. Dr. John basically has recommended this book too for women who are going through this. Um, it's a book by, oh, I forget. The lady has an interesting last name. Anyway, the name of the book is called The Body Keeps the Score. And John mentioned to this lady, which is so true, he said, the reason the reason your body is could be shutting down is because you don't feel safe. Exactly. When you're warm, you're kind, you're loving, you are concerned about our well-being, that's an aphrodisiac. And I don't mean you trying to do that to get your dick wet. I'm talking about you do that in the long term all the time because that is who the hell you are. You're not an insensitive, arrogant, mouthy bully. You're kind, you're warm, you're loving, you're considerate. Okay? You say, hey, it's like 12 o'clock midnight, and you say, babe, happy birthday. I want to be the very first person to wish you a happy birthday. Saying I love you and meaning it, not saying it just because you're trying to get something. I'm real busy today. I have got meetings back to back, but I just wanted to hear your voice for 5 minutes. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you when I get off work. That is what women like. When she talks to you about a problem and you're receptive and you're like, okay, let me decompress from work. Let me get a hot shower, get some food in my belly, and then we can talk about anything you want to talk about. That makes women hot. See how there's no attitude in there? See how receptive the person's being? Hey, let me do this and this, and then I'm all yours. We could talk about anything you want to talk about. That makes women feel connected to you. That makes women feel safe. But if she always has to have her walls up because she never knows who you're going to be at any given time of the day, she doesn't feel safe. When you can't regulate your emotions, she doesn't feel safe. I mean, this isn't really rocket science. There was a study that talked about a study showed that if men helped more around the house, their wife is more receptive to being physical, being intimate with them. I'm like, shit, no shit, Sherlock. I could have saved y'all a lot of money. You didn't have to do a survey or any study. I could have told you that. It saved you a lot of time and energy. Duh. You help the kids, help her with the kids when you get home from work. You unwind, you take a shower, you put some food in your belly, you start running the kids' bath water, you get them in their PJs, get their teeth brushed before bed. Yes, women like that. You took it upon yourself to mop the floor because it was a mess, or you took the trash out without her telling you 5 times. You ignored her 5 times, and then the sixth time you explode. I'm tired of you nagging me. Well, if she didn't have to say it 5, 6 times, it wouldn't be nagging. You ignored her several times. That's why she keeps saying it. Or she ends up taking the trash out herself. And no, that's not an aphrodisiac that she had to tell you multiple times, and you got a pissy attitude about it. So much of this has to do with attitude. A lot of this has to do with attitude. Attitude and pissiness and bullying does not get you laid. It does not. Unless you're just dealing with somebody who's so disconnected from how you treat her that she just desperate for physical, and she don't, I don't know. I don't know how a person could do that. Just do you, unless her drive is so damn high, you could whoop her ass and she'll still lay you. I mean, whatever. I'm not like that. And a lot of women are not like that. We're connected to our own emotions, and we're connected to where we're receptive or not receptive, depending on how you treat us. Now, if your woman is a sex addict and she don't care how bad you treat her, good for you. But no, for the rest of us, no, we're not doing that. And the more guys chase for that, the more I retreat. You are better off getting an escort, and you'll save a lot of money. You don't have to take her on dates. I know you don't get the joy of breaking someone's heart when you get an escort, but you do get your wang off, and you don't have to waste my time because you're not getting it. So your best bet, because y'all, that's how you manipulate women, and I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm not getting any younger. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. Get you an escort and be done with it. You don't have to wine her and dine her. You don't have to text her. You don't have to say, "Good morning, baby," and pretend that you're so romantic and sweet. You don't even have to put your costume on. Just be you. Get it done, pay for it, and be done with it. The more you chase and the more unregulated you are about persisting with the sexual, the more we just back off of it. We don't want to be used that way. We don't want to be a jump off. Okay? Jump off is someone who gets on top of you, does their thing, and jumps off. It's a jump off. We don't want to be jump offs. Go find somebody else who's okay with that, because a lot of us are getting tired of that shit too. You're too pushy. You can't, you don't act like you got sense, and you think that women owe you because the whole world kisses your ass. Let's be honest, the whole world kisses men's ass, and most people who are in charge are men, and that is the reason why men cater to other men. That because of that, men feel entitled. It just feeds their grandiosity and entitlement. Like I said, they're used to having their way. So when they don't get their way with women, they get mad. I don't care how mad you get. I really don't care. I don't care. My body belongs to me. It doesn't belong to you. And it is not our job to service the entire community. It is not our responsibility. I don't know where the hell y'all get that from, but that's not our job. Call an escort. Or pick up some horny chick in a bar. I don't care how you do it, but you're not doing it over here. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Me being celibate for 10 years at the tail end of this so-called marriage, that saved me from getting STDs because he was slutting around and he got somebody pregnant while we were married. I didn't find that out till way later. Way later. After the divorce. So they risk giving you permanent diseases because they have no dick control. None. Absolutely none. They're so desperate for their ego to be fed, and that is one of the ways they get their ego fed, bouncing up and down on everybody. Well, good luck with that. Good luck to her too, because he's extremely stingy with money, so If you got pregnant on purpose or you were stupid with not using birth control, boy, you got a real reality check coming. Cause he don't cough up his money. So you better get you 2, 3 jobs to pay for that kid, cause he ain't gonna pay jack shit. You got pregnant by the wrong one, sister. Okay. Anyway, you guys take care. Much love. Bye.